What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back with another video, and as you can see by the title, we're going to be talking about the potential biggest steal in the NHL draft this year. And the reason I wanted to make this video is because it kind of hits close to home for me. This player plays for my city's OHL hockey team, and I think that a lot of people have talked about this. I've seen a lot of articles about it, and I thought that I would give my opinion on it because he plays for the Guelph Storm, and his name is Ryan Merkley. Now, the reason why he could become the biggest steal in the upcoming NHL draft is because he is amazing offensively, gifted, incredible with the puck, but is very bad defensively and has some attitude issues. He's being explained as a wizard with the puck offensively, but a liability when it comes to defense. He's even being looked at as a guy who could be a top 5 talent in this draft, but unfortunately doesn't have the defense and obviously the attitude, like I said, to back up his offensive skill. So we're going to get a little bit into Ryan Merkley. We're going to see what he's all about. I've put together some information, but I've also got a lot of personal experience and up close experience to talk about Ryan Merkley, because I have seen quite a lot of him. When he was selected #1 by the Guelph Storm, I believe it was in 2016, he was the #1 overall selection, and a lot of people here were pretty excited. A lot of people love the Guelph Storm here, and it's because hockey is pretty alive in Guelph, I would say. There's been a lot of great players who have played here, much like, guys like Drew Doughty and Ryan Callahan, just to say a couple. But this team has seen a lot of great talent, and Ryan Merkley coming in here was exciting for a lot of people. A lot of passionate Guelph Storm fans here. I remember watching the Facebook Live press conference when he spoke briefly, but, the Guelph Storm organization spoke very highly of him, and I was pretty excited. As a hockey fan in general, I like seeing awesome talent come right into your city because it's so easy to go and watch, and the tickets aren't expensive and stuff like that. I've seen, I believe I was at his very first home game with the Guelph Storm as well, and I've seen a lot of him over the years. I was even at the Top Prospects game this year. I've made sure that I have done my homework on Ryan Merkley and seeing, everything that he has become in Guelph in his 2 years. So let's get right into it. So I've got some info here with me because obviously I can't remember absolutely everything about him. But he was born on August 14th, 2000, and like I said, he does play for my hometown, the Guelph Storm. He is 5'11", I believe that's what it says on multiple websites, so I went with that. He weighs 163 pounds. Again, that could vary. He could be trying to gain some weight. Kind of a shorter guy, I guess, when it comes to a hockey player, but at the same time, that doesn't really matter anymore. And he shoots right-handed, so right-handed defenseman with a lot of offensive talent, but not the defense. If he was a more defensive defenseman, I think that he would be going way higher than what he is. A lot of people expected him to be a high first-round pick, like at the beginning of last season. A lot of people were saying, look out for him. I think even Merkley did a fantastic video on him as well. But like I mentioned, he was the first overall selection in the 2016 priority draft for the Ontario Hockey League. And in his first year, he had 12 goals, 43 assists, for 55 points in 62 games. And of course, as a rookie, that is incredible numbers. And like I said, I was at some of those games, some of them, a lot of those games, and Ryan Merkley was very impressive. The way that he moves with the puck, I've never seen a player like that is so gifted offensively, in front of my eyes at least, so gifted offensively, but is not playing the greatest defensively. And this past season, Merkley had 13 goals and 54 assists for 67 points in 63 games. Again, very impressive numbers for him. Big fan of him. And again, I'm going to say that a lot. I am a huge fan of Ryan Merkley. A lot of people might be, on him for not being the best defensively and his attitude, but we'll get to it. I think that there's a lot more to him that a lot of people haven't seen yet. But again, very impressive. In his first year as a rookie, he finished 8th among defensemen. So as a rookie, he was 8th in points, which is fantastic. And then this past season, he finished 3rd in points for all defensemen. And also, just a quick thing here, he wasn't named the top offensive defenseman in the Western Conference, which was a shaft. The guy was incredible, and he completely deserved it, in my opinion. And they asked him about it, and he just kind of was like, I know what's going on. People don't like me that much, because he does have a bit of a chip on his shoulder. Fantastic hockey player, put up a lot of points. He should have been recognized as the top offensive defenseman in the Western Conference, in my opinion. So in those seasons, as you can see, he made jumps in his assists, his points and stuff. He went from 43 to 54 assists. Power play assists, he went from 18 to 32. Again, he's a power play quarterback. He's so good on the power play. I've seen it multiple times. Very shifty, good player with the puck. And power play points, he went from 23 to 34. Again, the power play very, very good. Between his 2 seasons so far in the OHL, not NHL. Jeez. So he was also a major contributor to the fact that Guelph was not a very good team in his rookie season. They were towards the bottom of the league. Again, defense was very bad for them. I know their defensive pairs switched up for pretty much the entire season. But then, of course, Guelph made the playoffs this year. They had a very, very tough matchup against the Kitchener Rangers, but I think that they performed very well. Merkley has also been represented on international ice. He represented Canada at the Under-17 World Hockey Challenge in 2017. He also was a part of the roster in the Even Linka, if I'm saying that wrong, Memorial Tournament last summer. And he also was a part of the IIHF Under-18 championships. He had 6 assists in the Ivan Halinka tournament. Again, could be saying that wrong, and that was in 5 games. And he had 3 assists in the Under-18 World Championships, and that was also 5 games. So when it comes to him as a playmaker, fantastic goal scoring. I think it'll come a little bit more as he grows older. But at the same time, his playmaking ability is what's putting him so high up, even though he has to make improvements in other places in his game. He's going to give you assists pretty much anywhere he goes. He's going to be able to dish the puck and find you no matter what. And I've seen that on many times. I'm going to stress it. I have seen him make some of the craziest passes I've ever seen. Live in front of my eyes. I really wish I would have filmed some of it, but again, can't really post that stuff either. So the big issue that I wanted to talk about as well when I'm talking about Ryan Merkley is the attitude, and I have to get to it. And again, I'm a big fan of Ryan Merkley, but this is something that people say. I have not witnessed it in front of my face talking to him, because I've never had that opportunity to talk to him, but I feel like it's being a little bit overblown. I know that he does have a little bit of those issues, but at the same time, he's very young. It can be fixed, and I'll get back to that. But Tony Saxton is incredible. He's a writer, and he's done a lot for the Guelph Storm over the years, and I believe some of this information is coming from him. But he's been a healthy scratch on a couple occasions when he could very well have been in the lineup. He's also been benched a couple times during the regular season where Guelph really needed the points. And I also seen him get benched in the playoffs. I don't know. Again, it could have been a very brief benching, and we won't know unless the coach, Burnett, I believe his name is, George Burnett, yes. Unless he told the media. I didn't hear it. I was waiting to hear it. But again, the series in Kitchener, I believe, because of either poor defensive play or the fact that he did have a bit of a chip on his shoulder, there was plays where he was not on the ice that he probably should have been, and I noticed that really quick. My buddies, also Ryan and Mark, were a part of that. We were in the media box. We were at the game, covering the game, and it looked like he had been benched a couple times. He also, I believe on February 4th, he also got a 3-game suspension for basically taking a baseball swing at a North Bay player. He has those issues when he's very frustrated. He takes it out and he kind of takes it to the next level. And unfortunately, that's something that's kind of, bringing him down when it comes to the rankings and stuff like that. But again, the offense is what's keeping him above, but he does have those little bit of issues, and I thought I would bring that up. The NHL Central Scouting Services actually had him at 21 at the midterm, so very high up. Again, a first-round draft selection, but as the final selection, he was ranked 45th. That is because of a little bit of poor play towards the end of the season when it came, again, defensively and in the playoffs. the game I was at, he was kind of invisible, and I hate to say that, but he kind of was. Some of the stuff, again, we get to watch on local TV as well. Rogers does show the Guelph Storm games, so I am able to watch him on a very consistent basis, and the team, of course. But you're always focusing on a guy who is the first overall selection and a guy that's going to be into the NHL draft for sure. He is going to make a lot of people happy offensively, but not so much defensively, and that's kind of why he dropped to number 45. And I believe the Hockey News had him at number 32, which I think is a little bit more fair. I think that that number makes a little bit more sense. So just outside of the first round, basically. I really do agree with that, and they also were the ones to say that he does look like a top 5 talent-wise, probably top 5 defensively, maybe even offensively, I guess. Or, sorry, top 5 in defense, not defensively. Top 5 skilled when it comes to his offense in the entire draft, possibly. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that he was top 5 defensively, because he's definitely not, and that's not a diss to him, but that's just how he is. So, as displayed, as you guys have heard, and you could probably see it in other places, in other videos and other writing pieces, this is where I want to give my opinion. So I needed to write down some of this stuff because I have taken notes on him before, because I was going to prepare a video a long time ago on Ryan Merkley, but I feel it's way more important now. So I took some of the stuff I've said before when I was writing it down, and I put it down with some new thoughts as well. So he is a very gifted hockey player, and that's the first thing I noticed, and you've heard that throughout this video. Offensively, insanely gifted. He carries the puck well. He's able to dish it out very well. He's got an amazing wrist shot. Got a very good slap shot. Very, very underrated slap shot, in my opinion. I've seen it in not just in warm-ups, but in game. The guy has a cannon. He's also very, very good with his hands. He can deke a lot. I believe it was a teddy bear toss game. I don't think it was this past season, but in his rookie season. Don Cherry even brought him up on Hockey Night in Canada. He was able to get through 2 or 3 guys, and I'm not sure if it was on a power play, but his hands are just amazing. He was able to deke through a couple guys, find a hole, and then snipe a shot. It was just like he just snaps it off, and it went crazy, fired it into the back of the net. The crowd was going nuts. He's that type of player. He's explosive. People comparing him to Tony DeAngelo, another, I believe I'm saying his name correctly, or Anthony DeAngelo. I can't remember because I believe he's with the New York Rangers organization. I might as well look him up. Yeah, Anthony DeAngelo. I apologize for calling him Tony. But he's being compared to him. I think he's a much better offensive defenseman than him. But that's just my opinion. And again, I brought it up. The issues, the temper and defensive stuff. I think that it could be fixed. He's 18. He's 100% going to be with the Guelph Storm probably, or within the OHL, hopefully with Guelph, for probably 2 more years. He can be fixed when it comes to those things. I believe George Burnett was also the coach of PK Subban when he was with Belleville, and he also said that PK Subban gave him heck pretty much every night, but we all know how PK Subban has turned out. A much better, not insanely good defensively, but offensively very, very good. His defensive game will always need work, but he is one of the higher paid defensemen in the NHL, so Merkley should be looking at that and saying, okay. Burnett has also had 20 years of experience, I believe, coaching in hockey, so there is a very good chance that not only his defensive game, but his attitude will get better. He's young, he can get a lot better. I'm going to keep stressing that. It can be fixed. I also view his chippy side as a plus, and this is one thing I wrote down that I really want to stress. He plays bigger than he actually is. He draws a lot of penalties. He also takes a lot of penalties. But if he can fix the side of him taking dumb penalties, and making all these dumb slashes and getting suspended and stuff like that, if he can stop that, if he can learn how to fix that, he can use this chip on his shoulder to an advantage. He can get under people's skins. I've seen it firsthand. Him and Giovanni Smith, ex-teammates, were getting at each other. I believe he caused Giovanni to get a penalty in one of the playoff games. He can use this to an advantage. And by the way, the Giovanni Smith situation in the OHL was insanely messed up. Shout out to him. He's an awesome player. Great guy from what I've heard. The racist remarks against him is absolutely stupid. I really want to make a video about that. But big fan of Giovanni Smith as well. But He needs to be able to. Merkley needs to use the getting under people's skin and making them take penalties. He needs to use that as an advantage. He's a chippy player, much like Nazem Kadri, where he can really tick you off. He does some dumb stuff here and there, but offensively, insanely gifted. Of course, one's a defenseman, one's a forward, but I like that comparison. I think that he is an offensive juggernaut. I think he's going to be amazing in the NHL once he gets there. If this defensive stuff can get a little bit better, if he can just improve enough to where it's not an embarrassing defensive type of coverage, if he can just get a little better and the attitude problems can get fixed, he could be the biggest steal in the upcoming draft. So let me know what you guys think. If you're new, please subscribe. Love to have more hockey conversations with you. Join the squad. Let's get to 3,000 subscribers. I'll see you guys in the next video stream. Peace.